you should function, and it will be easy while I'm there mentoring you along the way. So a part of the application that has been completed, we also have to submit a business plan to the FSRC. So the business plan will talk about our mission, our vision, etc. And I want to share some thoughts with you and ask you to give me your attention. And if you want to add some things, right? So the Coconut Queens, that is our legally registered name. Isn't that correct? The Coconut,
Queens.
Coconut Queens Cooperative, right? The Coconut Queens is the latest, so that's I'm introducing the business. The company is a legally registered cooperative in Antigua and Barbuda that is owned and managed by its members. The cooperative is made up of all female farmers who are committed to the reforestation of the coconut palm on the island. The cooperative exists to fulfill a common set of needs for its membership owners, such as improved services. So I'm saying, why did we start this cooperative? We're going to do the reforestation. We're going to act on behalf of the members. We're going to help to improve services, access to agricultural plants and supplies. Some of you have been given some plants already. But one of the things a cooperative could function and in the future is to get supplies to help you grow a business. The cooperative is open to other individual female farmers or groups. That is something you have to tell me whether or not it is acceptable that other persons can join in the future. We discuss for new members, there's a certain price, but for new members, they can apply and you can grant membership based upon a particular process. Are we all in agreement there? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I have a question here. Go ahead.
So we have here, you just mentioned it's open to other female farmers and groups, so.
All
males
groups.
can't join.
Huh?
We excluding the males, so if there's a male who wants to capitalize on some services that we offer as Coconut Queens,
Yes.
can they become a part of the?
You tell me, you're the boss. And remember, and that's a good question. So at this point in time, we say we're going with our female farmers. No, it's a good question because remember, at any point in time, you want to change the bylaws, you can change the bylaws and do an amendment to the bylaws. So we started in 2023 and 2025, 1,000 men say they want to join. And you say, you know what, we need their money, so let them come. You can change the bylaws by having an amendment to the bylaws and you decide. So that's a great question. But nothing here is of the laws of the Medes and Persians. You know what I mean by that? When there's a law of the Medes and Persians, can't change. You with me? That's why Daniel went into the lion's den. Even though the king wanted to take him out, he said he has to go in. But with your cooperative, you can always change along the way. So we're going to keep the language for female farmers, right? Now, every business exists. Oh, I'm sorry, my apologies. Yes, to the bylaws. That's great. Yes, my dear. Okay, thank you. Question online? A comment? You could unmute your mic or raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. Yes, my dear.
When you say other female farmers or groups, we are taking in groups too? I'm just asking.
Yeah, that's a great question. And the floor is open for all questions. So at any point in time, so for example, let's assume there's another cooperative that does something similar and they wanted to join as an affiliate member. That's something for you to decide. Remember, the bylaws are there to guide your principles. And if at some point in time you believe we want other groups or we don't want anybody right now, you come and put it to a vote. So you may get an application, but let's assume we had pig farmers. They would decide to farm let's say fishermen cooperative, for argument's sake. And they hear that you have good management, you have good strategy, and they believe that they can benefit and you can work closer together. They may come to ask if they can become a member an affiliate member or a group within. You bring it to the board, to the membership, and the membership will decide, yay or nay, we want them or we don't want them. Does that make sense?
So question.
Yes.
That fisherman cooperative, since you mentioned that, they would join as one member, so the cooperative is considered a member, or is it that they incorporated the members of the fishermen?
The members would be the members. So they come as a group of members. Remember, they're going to have to be active what? Members.
Right.
So they could come under the heading of the Fishermen's Association, and then they will have to apply individually as members and pay their own fees.
Why I'm asking?
Good question. Go
Right.
ahead. Yes.
Because let's say we are a group of 30
Yes.
women
Yes.
and fishermen come in 60 men.
Yes.
And we are voted.
Okay. Well,
Right.
who decide? Hallelujah. That's good. Because remember, at all points in time, you decide. So you say, you know what? We don't want this to come and overpower us. So you say, we're voting it down. You with me? And remember, it's very important. The bylaws are, it's like when we got the Constitution, you hear they go to Parliament all the time, and they're making amendment to the laws. That's what the bylaws are. So if you want me to strike it out now, I can. But if it's there, it doesn't mean that it has to be. Yes, gives you the opportunity, but it still has to be voted by what? The members.
Excuse me.
Yes.
You mentioned being an affiliate. So an affiliate wouldn't be all the group being one person.
So,
Like one vote.
so it depends. And again, you decide. You could agree that they come in as an affiliate member for certain things. Let me give you an example. A bad example, but a real life example is the remember they had the Labor Union Association for Labor Day?
Yes.
Made up of all the political parties, they have their own entity. That's an example of an affiliate. They don't control the runners, they don't control what they meet together for certain things. You with me? You guys remember that, don't you?
Yes, yes.
Right.
Yes.
So basically, you need to write it in the, I'm making a note here
Yes.
actually.
Yes.
So you would need to write that in the bylaws
Yes.
to give the right of voting power of affiliate members or groups. So
The two things, the cooperative is open to other individuals, female farmers, individuals, or groups, right? So you want to be clear. If it's there, it can be used. If it's not there, then you have to make an amendment to the bylaw. So remember, nothing is here binding. Nothing is here is of laws of the Medes and Persia. So let's assume 3 years from now, you have Cotton Growers Association. And they say, you know what? We think we can work well together as an affiliate. You could accept them as an affiliate member and set the terms and conditions for their acceptance.
that's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Those terms and conditions must be set in the bylaws.
No, you can't.
No.
No. And the main reason is that you can't anticipate all of the eventualities.
Right.
So as the case comes up, you can, for this one, this is what we do, and this is what we don't. Does that make sense? Because it's a living, breathing document. So when you constitute the Constitution, that's what it is. It contemplates the immediate needs, and as circumstances in society change, dynamics change, you can change with the dynamics of the society. Does that make sense?
Yes. There's a follow-up question. If there's an actual, not the notice of change. Openness, what's that document you use when you are making changes in your institution? Openness. No. No.
No, amendment.
The amendment,
Yes.
right? Okay, so, okay, you know what, leave that. Go ahead,
Yeah,
go ahead,
it's a
go
good
ahead.
question. So this is not going to, well, it's an amendment to the bylaws. So the bylaws says we open from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, but you recognize that society needs have changed and you want to open from 9 o'clock to midnight. Then you have to change, you have to make an amendment to the bylaws to say, at a meeting held so, we voted to amend the bylaws to allow open hours from 8 o'clock until midnight.
Excuse me.
Sure.
Is this is this entity one where every time you make a change to the bylaw, you have to put it, like to the
No,
administrative?
no, once you're formed,
Mm.
you make amendment to the bylaws and you file the bylaws, you don't have to pay to every time you make a change. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You update them because you're already registered as an entity. And that is why they require you to send in the bylaws, because if there's a dispute between a member and the cooperative, what are they looking for the ruling? Bylaws. And that's a very important thing, because if you were to have a dispute and you don't have bylaws, who says who's right and who's wrong? Am I making sense? And so that is why the bylaws are so important. So you want to give yourself some room to flex within the bylaws. Am I making sense? Very good. Excellent. You're a great bunch of people, very smart business folk. To done of the company there. What's the mission? Every organization exists for a purpose. And there are several reasons why you come together, right? That's the mission. And I've listed some here just for your consideration. So improve the capacity, Barbuda, right? So you exist to improve the capacity. Capacity is skill and ability to do what you can do. That's one of the mission. That's why we exist. You're here attending this training so we can improve the capacity for you to improve your business and be successful. The mission is to help repropagate coconut palms in Antigua and Barbuda. That's why you came together in the first instance. I read the documents and you came together with specific purpose. To increase household income and promote economic independence among female farmers. So the question I kept saying, what's in it for you? Why should I join this cooperative? We're not only going to help with cocoa plants, we're not going to help build capacity, but also you should make a little money individually out of the trees that you have gotten so you can have financial independence. Why do we exist? To identify growth and market opportunities for female farmers in Antigua and Barbuda. So you may have your business, sell it only at the market, but with vision and with capacity, we can identify new markets, right? To increase household income, to identify growth opportunities, but for female farmers in Antigua. The other one is to provide a range of goods and services to its members that will aid in the success of members' individual businesses. Each of you individually, we're given some coconut palms, you have your own business. We also want to make sure we provide a range of goods and services. So at this point in time, you may be buying fertilizer and insecticide individually.
I'm not hearing the audio.
Is to create to strengthen. So we talk about enhanced food security. Food security is a big part. We almost lost a lot of our coconut farms, and we know we depend upon the coconut. It's versatile for food, for other uses. All right, that's why we exist. The question I'm answering here is the mission. The mission answers the questions: why do we exist? For what purpose? And I'm giving you a list of things here. Also, it talks about strengthened adaptation to climate shocks. That is a big word. What do I mean by that? We know as a result of global warming, as a result of carbon dioxide, a lot of the trees are not producing and so forth, and you have gotten some palm trees that are resistant to some of these things. So we are building and strengthening our capacity to adapt to climate shocks. So we don't run out of coconut trees eventually. We're building for the next generation. And I have here to increase awareness of the contribution that female farmers are making in Antigua and Barbuda. So you have a broad range of mission. Why do we exist? We exist to teach you, build capabilities. We exist for you to pool your resource together for the benefit of the whole. We exist to provide goods and services, and we exist to have good PR, public relations. I'll take all of you and bring ABS. And I should do that next week before we leave. I'm very serious about it. No joke. Because I have to say, and I say this with all sincerity, when I came here the first time and I see the level of commitment, that for me is tremendous, and that is a story that needs to be told. And I'll remind me tomorrow for ABS to come, even on the last day, speak to some of you, what are you doing, farming and so forth. Very important to me, because this is high level of commitment. And as Antiguans, sometimes we don't like to work together, but I've seen commitment here. That's why I like coming here on a Monday. And this to me is a good example as to what needs to happen throughout the country. So I'm very serious about it. And the last thing, I'm going to see if I can arrange with ABS to come and do some filming here, make a nice news story. The Coconut Queens of Antigua and Barbuda. If anyone of you want to come with me, I'll take you with me to go and do the morning show and let Antigua and Barbuda be proud of you. And I want you to be proud of yourself.
Oh, yeah, we're president already.
Indeed, indeed. So is that a good idea?
I'm nominating members.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. I'm really, really, really serious.
I'm nominating Shemaine and Nzinga.
Look,
ABS
and remember, it's also good for your business, right?
and Taril.
Yeah, and whenever you need donations and so forth, they know that you're not fly by night, so you can get some support. Are you in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Very good.
Automatic.
So that's why we exist, right? And again, the vision. What's the vision? So every organization exists with a purpose, but they also have a vision. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, what does this corporation should looks like, right? So I have here to create the most successful cooperative in Antigua and Barbuda that serves the needs of its members and serve as a model for the empowerment of female farmers that enables sustainable social and economic growth and development. That's the vision. The vision is 5 years from now, folks are to be able to look at the Coconut Queens and say, you know what? I admire what they do. They're doing a tremendous job in Antigua and Barbuda. They are giving back to some society. They are empowered to do what none has ever done before, to give sustainable to produce sustainable development and growth in Antigua and Barbuda. The coconut trees, I lost a few. And I'm looking forward to somebody here saying I can come. I'm not getting it for free. I'll buy my plant, sell me so you can make money so I can plant these coconut trees back. And there are a lot of people in Antigua who I'm sure would buy these coconut trees that will produce in 1 to 3 years. So you have a great story to tell. And that's the vision that we have. This document is going to be a part of a folder that you have. So if anybody were to come and interview and ask you, for what purpose do you exist? You don't have to have it in your head. You look down on the mission. What's your vision? You can tell them 5 years from now. Sometimes old folk have vision. They work hard and they say, what's your vision? I want to pass it on to my grandson or my granddaughter when I'm gone. That's the vision that they have. I started farming 15 years ago. I didn't go very far, never been to school. Listen to those old folk. But they say, I have a vision. And you see the next generation. That's what the vision is all about. So we're giving you a vision here. You don't have to make it up. And every time you read the document, that's what the vision is all about. So that's the vision piece. I'm going quickly. We want to finish by 7 o'clock because I know you look tired, but I could be here all night, but I don't want to do that. No. We also want to make sure it is a highly profitable agriculture-based organization that capitalizes on business opportunities in agriculture to create and sustain successful livelihoods for its members. It will serve as a model for other agriculture-based cooperatives in the region and around the world. That's a lofty vision. But if you don't shoot for the moon, then you're going to be at ground zero. So you may not ever live to see the vision come into reality, but aim high. That's the vision I'm giving you. Aim high, that when you leave here, you do the best that you can to have a very successful business. I'll move on. What about our values? No organization can exist unless the people are agreed to have certain values. What do we mean by that? Ways of behaving. How do we conduct ourselves when we come together? Values. Teamwork. One of the key values, we work together as a team. 2, we have high standards and accountability. We believe in excellence. We're not going to be mediocre. We're not going to be like the other cooperatives. We have high standards and accountability. After all, you are the coconut queens. Your royalty, behave like royalty, right? Excellence in all that we do. Adherence to good governance. Follow rules and procedures. Respect each other. Those are the values that we live and work by. Ultimate respect for the environment and care for our people and our community. So those are our values. The values drive our behaviors. So when we're making decisions, we can make decisions based upon our vision, based upon our mission, why we came together, and based upon the values that we have as a cooperative. I won't keep you very long. The next thing you will see in the document is what service do we provide? And I'll give you a list of service. So we're going to provide training, we're going to provide marketing support and so forth. I'll give you a list. The big part, which is the heavy lifting that I am doing, almost done, is to think about what are the market opportunities? What do I mean by that? So when you think of coconut, I'm not talking about coconut trees only. There are a number of related opportunities relating to coconut trees. So we have coconut trees, that's one stream of revenue. They're going to grow coconuts, that's another stream of revenue for coconut water. And from these same coconuts, we can do grated coconut, that's another stream of revenue. And these shells can be made into artifacts for tourists, that's another stream of revenue. So watch the imagination. It's not just a coconut tree. You have to think as to what opportunities exist to use the trees, the fruit, and the waste to create money. That I will help you with to define what the industry is like. I'm going to say within the coconut industry, we have this market, that market, this market, that market. We talk about fertilizer, talk about decoration, and so forth and so on. You will have to decide individually or collectively where you want to fish. So what do I mean by that? There are a lot of fishermen in Antigua. Some go all roadside, close to Guadeloupe. Some go Barbuda for lobster and snapper. Some go west to Redonda for different kinds of fish. It's within the same industry, but they're not playing in the same field. Some do deep sea fishing for tuna. You have to decide where you believe you can have a advantage or a little niche so that you can grow. Some may decide to do trees mainly. Some may decide to do coconut water. But in the business plan, I'll spell out for you those opportunities that exist. That's the market potential.
So, I think one of the things that we were asking last,
Yes,
as the cooperative itself,
yes.
the cooperative will do only services for the group, or it can do some of the products as well to sell, to probably bring in money for the cooperative so that it can still support
Indeed,
the services that for the member.
indeed. Excellent question, and you're right on point. So remember, you have your, what I would call, we call it, big term, our strategic priorities. As a corporation, we want to focus on 3 big things this year. Everyone rally around those 3 big things, but it doesn't prevent you from doing what you want to do individually. Does that make sense? So we have a cooperative, and the reason why we are coming together is because we have similar ambition and we're in similar industries, but it doesn't mean that we have the exact same business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you have to find the right balance to say, as a cooperative, collectively, we're going to do this because this will benefit the majority. And it may be coconut water, but somebody may be doing coconut fertilizer. Does that make sense? Great question. Great question. So the industry, you can focus as a cooperative in a particular industry, and you can support those initiatives. That's why you do it from a cooperative point of view. But you may see a niche market in your community that may not be as big as what the cooperative wants to do. Doesn't mean you can't do that. Because remember, we go back to the mission to increase and improve the financial capability and the livelihood of what? Members. Indeed, we're on the same page. We're tracking together. So what I want you to, I'm going to give you some homework. I want you next week to tell me the top 5 markets we should focus on. Top 5 markets we should focus on. Let me give you some examples. You may say we should focus in the first 3 months on selling 3,000, 4,000 coconut farms within Antigua and Barbuda. I want you to be specific. I want numbers. I want objectives. You tell me. So if all of us, you do the numbers, we got X number of coconut trees, we're supposed to plant them. What do you think we should be doing? Because at what price and so forth? We'll help you with that. I'll be here to mentor you. So you say in our first 6 months of operation, we need to sell collectively 3,000 coconut palms at $100 each. I'll look like $30,000 there ready for me. And it's not a big number. $100, if you double it, that's $60,000. Right? 3,000. Right? See how quick you can get to a nice number? And then if that's the vision and that's the mission, then you work towards that. But that's good, nice money there, right? So top 5 markets. So I'm giving you an example. Should it be coconut trees? I need 5. I don't need 1 because you will be able to discuss what's the size of the price. What's the size of the price? When I used to work for KFC, I used to get a lot of calls about it. One of them at KFC over here. And I asked them how many people live in Barbuda? 1,400. Right? What's the size of the price? What's it going to cost to go over there? So you have to think. So within the coconut related industry, not just trees, not just coconut water, think. Help me to use your imagination to say, you know what? When I look around, this is what I could see. I go to Grenada. I used to work for Rex, Halcyon Cove. They have hotels in Trinidad, Tobago, Grenada, St. Lucia, and Antigua. When I got to Rex, St. Grenada, the first thing I observed is that in the hotel walkway, it's all nutmeg shells, and it's beautiful and it does not decay. That's the market right there for landscaping. I would not have known that. You with me? So the coconut, the nutmeg, that's what we use. And it's nice and brown and beautiful. So use your imagination to give us some ideas as to what we can do within this industry. And if you stretch your mind, if only, oh, I wish I could have time to teach you this, right? But I'm going to share it with you. If only the only thing you had available to you to make money was a coconut tree and the fruits, how could you make money from that? From those 2 items? And I'm stretching your mind. You don't have time. You're tired. But if I were locked in this room right now, and it was fire was coming from there, and we didn't have a key, you're a very smart lady, we'll find a way to get out, and it may be a paper clip or a car key that becomes a key to open the door. It may be we will force our minds to think, how do we escape? Same thing I want you to do. I'm starving, I'm dying of hunger. I have 9 children. When I look outside, the only thing I see is a coconut tree in the yard. Use your imagination to tell me how you could make money from that coconut tree. That's the imagination I'm giving to you. That's innovation. Are you guys tracking with me together? I have 2 other things I want to say, and then we're going to close. I want you to think about your potential customers. Who are they? What do they look like? Describe them to me. I'm a potential customer for the guys who sell coconut water on the side of the road all the time. They make a lot of money from me. Epicure make a lot of money from me. Even today, I bought 2 bottles, myself and my wife. On Sunday, I bought a few bigger bottles. They make plenty money from me. They make a lot of money from me. Who's that? Okay. They make a lot of money from me. So you have to think, who are these potential customers that you could make money from? Those are your target market. It could be hotel, people who want coconut water, people who do decoration. You think hard, restaurants. I don't know. I want you to use your imagination. I'm using mine. I'm going to come with some ideas, but I want you to have some ideas next class. Target customers. Look at your coconut tree. What does it produce? Who could you sell anything from that coconut tree to? That's your target customers. And then finally, I want you to think, who are your biggest competitors in this industry? Who sells coconut tree? And what are they selling? And why are people buying? Who sells coconut water? What are they selling? And why are they buying? Because you need to know something about the competition in order for you to have the right strategy. If you don't know what they're selling and what price they're selling at and who is buying, how are you going to market to your customers if you don't know what the competition is doing? I want you to think with me. Come back next week. How will we deliver our service? In other words, how will they hear about us? Where will they get our stuff from so that these customers can get what we want? Because we could have 3,000 coconut trees in Crystal Valley, in Bethesda, in Glanville, and no one knows what for Brother Joseph and the Queens. So I want you to tell me, as a cooperative, how we're going to deliver our products and service to customers. Will we be at the market on Saturdays? Will we be at the where XPZ used to be to sell coconut every first Sunday? You need to tell me so I can put it into the plan. You must have a strategy. You're not going to make the 30,000 or the 60,000 without having a strategy. So I want you to come back. I'm helping you. And that is how our service will be delivered. Do we sell online? Do we have a monthly fair where we having coconut trees? Do we go on ABS like I told you every month to talk about? We have 3,000 coconut trees for sale. The first 5,000 people who 3,000, the first 2,000 come, we'll get a 30% discount so we can move them. Let's do something. I want you to help me as you come next week. I have an outline. I have some meat here, but I can tell you the knowledge in the room here is greater than the knowledge of one man. So I want your ideas, and we're going to put them together, and you're going to end up with a business plan. This is what the business plan will speak to, and you'll be able to go back time and time again. And then the last piece here, who do you want to have as a strategic partner? No business can exist without having good relationship. Doesn't mean that they are part of you, but you need to have strategic relationships with other organizations. People who can help to make things move for you. That if you have a problem, you can get a problem solved because you have good strategic partnerships. So for example, a strategic partner, I think, would be somebody in the Ministry of Agriculture, that if you want to import something and you want to know the documentation and you want the duty free, they will what? Sign off. Those strategic relationships are very important so that the cooperative will now be acting on your behalf. Equipment, fertilizer, you will get that sign off, you get it duty free and so forth and so on. I want you to think, what kind of strategic relationships do you want? Do I have a question? Yes, my dear.
If you're looking at the ministry, it's already predetermined in that once you're registered, let's say, and you take your documentation to them, it's signed off without any hassle, any fuss, and you do get to bring in your stuff with some
Farmers
concession.
imports already duty free.
Right. So I want you to think, because
But that particular part.
right, so government has that relationship that is by the government to support entrepreneurship and farming. But I want you also to think of strategic partners that will help your business to grow out of civil society, not just the government. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You guys are with me? So let me give you an example of a strategic partner. You may have a small business association that provides accounting services, and they could become a strategic partner where, because you are a cooperative, they will do your books for 3,000 as against 7,000 that they will charge regular business, because they appreciate what you do. And you say, hey, we are a group of female farmers just getting together to make ends meet, and we want you to be a strategic partner. Give us a 30% discount, a 50% discount. You could go to Cool and Smooth and say, you know what? We hear that you make a lot of money in construction and so forth. We need help with equipment. Bring for us 10 water tanks. And he becomes a strategic partner, and you give him a little credit for what he does. That's what I mean by strategic partners. Does that make sense? So I want you to think it through.
You would consider like one of these bottling company that produces the bottle.
Indeed, indeed,
Trinity or Paradiso.
indeed.
And say as a collective.
Yes. Hallelujah. Give us 1,000 bottles for free because we are just getting started. And he says, and we will continue to support your business, those strategic partners. And that's great thinking. That's what I want you to come back with. Who are these strategic partners? It is, yes.
How about if you have somebody that can create website?
Yeah, hallelujah. You're a good lady. Smart. And how do you pay them? By giving them a little credit that says this website was created by John Doe East Station.
Or there is this business work, Elijah.
Yes.
Does apps.
Yes.
So we could probably get the app for coconut cream and
yes.
the app
Indeed.
or something like that.
Indeed. Very good. You guys are great folks to work with. So those are the ingredients of a business plan, which is well into production. But I'm not taking knowledge from here to give here. I'm taking your knowledge to incorporate here. And so we're going in a good shape. So that's where I want to end today. Here's my urgent request, my big, bold request. I want to say to all of us, and I mean that with all sincerity that I have in my heart, you have done extremely well. I have, sometimes not even in church, I see this high level of commitment, and you ought to feel proud coming here night after night. We have 2 sessions left. The big goal is to finish the registration. I have ultimate control, but I don't have ultimate control. We really need information to come back so we can do it. The second piece is the business plan and the financial projection. I have ultimate control because that is what I'm doing on a regular basis, and I'm in the works. So I'm excited. I want you to dress nice and calm. And the last day, you're gonna have a little eat up and so on and so on. And I honestly, sincerely, with all my heart and soul, want us to do the ABS thing. I'm gonna see if I can arrange it so that they come and do some filming of the class, because I think it is really a good thing. It's a model. I've been in Antigua for a long time. I've never had an experience like this. And so I think this is commendable. And your children and your neighbors feel proud when they see you on TV. Hallelujah. All right. I saw you on television, you're looking nice and so on and so on. But I honestly think it is a good thing that has happened here. And I'm so very happy myself. So on that note, if there are no questions, feedback,
Just one more.
my dearest, go ahead.
So you gave us some assignments.
Yes.
So I'm also asking, you also mentioned some values and so on. Could we also add to those if you have any?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Very good. Very good. I want to get some information, but I want to give you something that's going to be a working document. And when you come down and somebody asks you, what is the organization all about? You say, look at my mission. What's your vision for this place? It's all written there. What are we going to be working at? Who are your customers? What service we provide? How do we know we're going to make money? All that is going to be in the business plan. Are you guys feeling happy? Has the Lord been good to you guys?
Of course.
God is a good God. Thank you so very much.
For everybody,
Yes.
yes, I am a big talker on the book, and I always talk about reforestation. Right? That is one. You have to explain the whole idea of Antigua. Sell Antigua on the cruise ship, right? So it's everything you have. I will everything we tell everything. So I know there's some because usually on these trips we don't know who they're coming on. That is why.
Very well, very well.
So I've been doing it already, and there have one people I had emails from the president hearing more about our organization. People that really.
God bless you. Thank you for that intervention. So listen, may the Lord bless you. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you. And I see you next Monday by God's grace and permission. Okay, so I'm depending on my directors to make sure we can get it all organized.
Yeah.
Right? Right, one day a day. God bless you.
Because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And water. Yes. You made it. You made it.
Good night, everyone. Good night. Bye. Good night. Good night.